Hello, everyone.
Hey.
And welcome back to episode 21.
To episode 21.
Yes.
Got it.
Episode 21 of the Open Door Podcast. I'm Chelsea.
I'm Bedford.
And we're back.
Yes, we are.
You guys, here's the thing. This is all I can think about.
Yep.
I'm so cold. And here's the thing. I just need to know if anyone else feels, because Bedford, am I naturally cold?
No.
No, never.
We call her sweaty pits in our house.
Yes, I am so sweaty all the time. I am blazing hot all the time.
And not just visually.
Okay. All right. This winter, I have been frigid. Almost 24/7. I am always in socks and jackets and sweaters and in a blanket, and I am so cold. And I just need to know if anybody else is feeling that.
No, she has a solution she's afraid of.
You're afraid
Because I cracked it. I cracked the code. Because I've always been, every winter, I've been like, we got to get out of this state. Every single winter. And finally this winter, I started cold plunging, and I haven't been cold not one time since.
Yeah, you cold plunged 4 times.
I know, and it worked. No, actually it was 8. It's a lot of times.
And you haven't done
and
it
you
in
cold
2.5 months.
Yeah, and that's all I needed is just to understand what real cold was.
Yeah, but here's the thing. It's not like I've cold plunged every year. It's not like I haven't cold plunged. It's not like I've been cold every single year like this. This is the first year that I have been so freezing.
Gotta hit that factory reset button. Boop. We'll cold plunge tomorrow and she'll be fine.
Because my toes are freezing. That's all.
Yeah. But we'll cold plunge tomorrow. She'll be okay. No worries.
No, I won't.
It's really cold.
You're going to hear first. I'm not going to.
It's really cold.
Not a chance.
Yeah. I have to clean it. So that's probably not.
All right. Go ahead.
All right. We're going to jump off into the random things I found in the news. The unnecessarily long name segment.
Ah, yes.
Which I have nailed.
You have. Actually, one of our friends, she was actually a Rikers teacher at school. She messaged me, yeah, and she said, I've been listening to your podcast, and Bedford's segment is killing me. And she said, he reminds me of my husband.
Oh.
Humor-wise. And I was like, yeah, it is the best. It is, when he says it's random, it is random. There is no
rhyme or reason.
Or reason to any of it, no.
Mm-mm. And so we're going to jump off into something that just got announced an hour ago.
Okay.
Boop, beep, beep, boop, beep, beep.
Okay.
Breaking news.
Alrighty.
The New York Yankees are doing away with their facial hair policy, eliminated beards. You can have a beard and be a Yankee now.
Wow, I didn't know that you
could. For 49 years, people who went and played for the Yankees had to shave their beard.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. I didn't know either until it got eliminated. I'm not a baseball guy, but I am a beard guy. Look at this.
If you can't see, then it's okay because there's nothing to see. But I also, he's not a beard guy. You're right, he's not a beard guy. One time he bought this stuff for facial hair. It was supposed to help him grow fantastic.
Didn't work.
It didn't work. But I will say that I'm actually okay with that. I'm not really a facial hair person. Not in the looks category, but when I kiss you, I don't want your facial hair on my face.
She would be a facial hair person if I would not. If I could create decent facial hair.
I would not.
She would be like, "Ooh, you're so handsome."
I already think you're handsome. I'm not
but
a
I'm
facial
not,
hair individual.
Because I can't grow a nice
or
beard.
chest hair. That's gross.
I can't grow that either. Why'd you bring that up?
Because I don't like it. Think about having to shave your chest.
I wouldn't.
Wow. No, thank you.
I would be looking all burly and nice and manly.
No.
And now my chest sparkles like freaking Edward.
All right.
I look ridiculous every summer.
I like it. So.
It's hard to go to the pool.
Who are you trying to impress?
You.
I said I like it.
But do you really?
Yes.
I don't know.
I do.
It's hard to tell.
Yeah, that's a weird policy. I don't really understand. It's kind of, and obviously this is
it's
a completely different situation, but it's kind of like the church's policy or BYU.
Yeah.
It's you're not allowed to have facial hair or you're not allowed to have, and it's for why? What is that doing?
Actually, that is the first time I've been you know what? BYU can do whatever they want. All right. If If the Yankees could do it, then so can you. But now I have to revoke that, even though I had that in the cards for 49 years.
Yeah, what a weird thing to think that, like, I'd be really curious to understand the reasoning behind that.
It's probably the same stuff. We want you to look professional. It's definitely not athletic.
Let's talk about James Harden. We've talked about this again. Like, do you realize how much worse some people look without facial hair?
A lot of people look way worse, which is why I'm curious to see.
A really great example. Okay, and we've talked about this before, but like James Harden reminds me of the Twits, right? Like his beard, while fine for a beard, it
is not fine, it's excellent.
Okay, well,
perfectly manicured and shaped.
As far as beards go, it's okay, but
top
it's
tier.
Also, like, I'm sure he has food in there, like
he ain't got no food
like
in there.
Stuck in there and nobody would know because it's ginormous. But I was like, I don't like it, and then Bedford showed me his face without it, and I was like, put it back on. Put it back. I don't.
Yeah, he catches strays today.
Yeah. So, do some people do places not realize it? And also, it's kind of about like how you feel the most professional, right? Like how you feel your best. What a weird rule. Well, congratulations to the Yankees on being able to grow facial hair now.
Yeah. So BYU, you're next.
When I told you that this was a random segment, I was not joking.
Oh, I was about to get way more random.
Okay,
father and son.
Oh, gosh, you have more. Okay.
Oh, I do have more. I got to remember where these guys are at. I think they're in Chile.
Chile.
All right. Chile, all right?
All right.
Father and son. They're out kayaking, having themselves a good old time.
Did they get swallowed by a whale?
Yes.
I've seen this. I saw this clip, and I said, Jonah, is that you?
He gets swallowed by a whale.
Legit swallowed and then spat back out.
Yeah, the whale was like,
by a whale.
Not for me.
I was in shock. I saw that video and I was like, no, I'm telling you, I was like, that's Jonah. That's the one. No one else on earth. I mean, I'm sure. Actually, I'm sure that multiple people have had this experience, actually.
No.
Yes, I swear I've heard about it before. I will look it up.
How many people have been swallowed by a whale?
I'm looking it up.
And live to tell about it later. Apparently, the son was like,
oh, gross.
He got swallowed, was like, I'm dead. And then the whale spit him out, and he came out and was like, I'm alive. And then his first thought, what a good kid, because my kid wouldn't think this. The first thought was like, Dad, run away. Because he thought the whale was going to come back and eat his dad. But isn't that wild?
Yes, it's so wild. And here's the thing.
Nobody else has ever been swallowed by a whale. Look, she's Googling it right now.
No, listen. It's actually saying that it is biologically impossible for the whale to swallow a human, which is why they have to spit them back out. That's what it's saying. But then it does say that there is another girl that got swallowed by a whale in 2010. So it has, and then like this, and then this one says a whale swallows 2 women and then spits them back out.
Oh, actually, I think I've seen that video too.
I mean, here's the thing. I do think it's not like obviously crazy common, but I do think that it has happened. But it says that the reason that nobody has ever been like eaten by a whale is because the whale does not have the capacity. Their esophagus is too small.
That's so stupid.
They cannot swallow the human.
But it gagged.
Essentially
the whale's got a gag reflex.
They put it in their mouth and then they're like, I can't do this. And then they spit it back out. Yeah. Because they don't chew their food.
Well, they eat krill. Don't they eat krill?
Well, I mean, essentially, you've seen Pinocchio. They just open their mouth and then the fish just go on down onto their tummy.
No, I can't remember Pinocchio. It's been forever.
Yeah.
But I do remember Dory.
Because it's like they eat fish, right? So
not all of them. Like sperm whales only eat like plankton and stuff.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's like even the fish, though, they're too small realistically inside of a whale's mouth. They essentially just open their mouth. The fish go into their bodies.
It's crazy.
But no, I saw that. But like, here's the thing. So I had heard that it had happened, but the fact that it was on camera, this man being like, huh? The sound effects, but like just eaten and then spat out. Like, I just...
Never...
What a horrifying experience.
That's why you don't kayak.
Or go that far into the ocean.
Mm-hmm. I know, actually, you got some explaining to do.
Why were you so far out there?
That was super far. Whales are big. They don't be coming up.
It's a sperm whale, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, that is a huge whale.
Yeah.
That is a huge whale. It's not like it was on the shore.
How did you even get back to shore? Did it ruin your kayak? There's so many questions now.
Did it ruin your kayak? Did the oar go? A lot of things, but ultimately, I don't think it really. I would paddle back with my hands at that point. Like you
can't swim that far. I mean, obviously, like Dad was there, so he probably held on to Dad. Dad did the thing.
Wait, the kid was the one that got swallowed?
Kid got swallowed. The dad had to watch his kid get swallowed by a whale. Which, you know what? Gosh. If I have to watch my kids go, that might be the way. Because imagine that story for the rest of your life. The kid got swallowed by a whale.
Gosh, that is terrifying.
It is terrifying.
Poor child. Oh my gosh, so scary.
I feel way worse for the dad.
It seems less scary in Pinocchio, but I'm sure horrible.
Like, it would be way worse to be the dad of the kid that got swallowed by the whale than the person who got swallowed by the whale.
Both of them. It's so horrible.
I'm not trying to watch my kid get swallowed by a whale.
I'm not trying to be swallowed by a whale.
If I had to pick, though, all right, look at them kids behind you. You pick one of them. Are you going to be swallowed by a whale, or are you going to let them get swallowed by a whale?
I don't
you
want
choose.
either
you have to pick.
To have it. No, I don't. Obviously, Bedford, in any situation, I would rather it happens to me. But I'm just saying, it is not like it is, we're not on a spectrum of like, it is horrific or it's perfectly fine. It's like,
I didn't say that. I said I would rather be swallowed by a whale.
I know, but I'm just saying they both suck. Like, it sucks for both of them. Ugh, that's sucky. I have a feeling that this whole podcast is going to be just like this conversation today.
Oh, here we go. She's going to come up with some controversy.
If you are unfamiliar with Am I the A-hole, it is essentially this thing that started on Reddit. And it's essentially just saying, like, my neighbor's mad at me, or my husband's mad at me, or so-and-so thinks that I did something wrong or hurtful or whatever. And this is what happened. Am I in the wrong? Am I the a-hole? And then people can vote on it and say, like, yeah, you were in the wrong. Or people will say, like, no, it's not your fault. I would have done the same thing, right?
Yeah.
And sometimes it can get kind of controversial because people are like, no, I totally would have done that. And then, you know.
And then sometimes it's just so ridiculous that you're like, yeah, you're definitely the a-hole.
Yes.
All right, let's let it rip. I'm ready.
Here we go. Okay.
Yes. Yes, they are. I just feel it.
Okay.
I don't know.
All right. Okay, we had a family dinner this evening. My family has 4 kids in total. Me, my older sister, my younger sister, and my younger brother. They're 29, 24, and the baby brother's 22. Okay. Extended family attended our family dinner too, so all of our significant others, our cousins, aunts, and uncles were there. During the dinner, my older sister and youngest brother got into a mild disagreement. My sister seemed, at least to me, to be coming across as very aggressive out of frustration and losing said argument. The two of them were too absorbed in their argument to realize that the rest of us were getting fed up. Eventually, my sister got really fed up and said, "Shut up, I'm not going to argue with the 22-year-old virgin."
Ooh, that's cool.
And he's the only boy, so that's sucky.
Yeah.
Okay. My brother hadn't made any personal attacks up until that point. It was completely unprovoked. I think it might have been the alcohol, as my sister is a mean drunk. Anyway, I immediately told my sister to grow up and that she was making an embarrassment of herself. She replied by saying everyone knows he's a virgin and she didn't say anything wrong. This annoyed me, as my brother definitely has confidence issues and doesn't need to be made fun of like this.
Mm-hmm.
So I responded by saying how she slept with well over 100 men while she was in college, and that since everyone in the family knows this, it's not a big deal, right? Turns out her husband didn't know.
Ooh.
Amazingly, I genuinely assumed he must have known. He left the party angrily, saying that my sister misled him about her past. They're currently having problems. My family is blaming me for those marital problems. I refuse to accept that I did anything wrong. My sister bullied my brother in front of everyone. All I did was give her a taste of her own medicine.
Well, that's a toxic family, and I wish I was there. That would have been
Bedford
really...
love
I would love that. I'd be over here like, oh, you're a virgin. I'd be like, ooh, tell him. And then she'd be like, ooh. It's like, I don't think he knew that. I don't think I'd be like, oh, man, I would love
Bedford
that.
would love that. So is she the a-hole?
Nope.
I don't think so either.
Fight fire with fire, get burnt, everybody going down.
Yeah, here's the thing, though. It's funny because Bedford says that, and Bedford is kind of like that. However, I imagine this situation happening, like, with your family or with my family, right? Like, and in your family, let's say that this was to happen, I can totally see you popping off. However, you have enough people, like enough sisters that would be like, no, that's enough, no, right?
Yeah.
And like level things out. I don't have that.
Yeah, it would go.
And so this would turn into like battle royale at my house with my siblings.
Yeah.
So Bedford and I grew up very differently. Like Bedford's family is very like not push it under the rug, but also kind of push it under the rug in some ways, right? Like it's kind of like, okay, we briefly talked about it. We're just going to move on. But then the next time something happens, it's like at your throats again. However, Bedford and his siblings don't really argue, right? But in my family, it's like, no, we're going to scream our lungs out at each other until this is over. But once it's over, it's over. Like, it's not coming up again, right?
Well, here's the thing.
In a situation like this with like dinner and like all your aunts and uncles and your cousins.
But everybody knew that. And you can't get mad at someone. Because we even had a conversation like this, right? Because Chelsea built a platform. What did you build a platform on, right? Surviving infidelity.
Yeah.
Not my infidelity, but some of her ex-husband's infidelity.
Right.
And then, you know, building a mixed and blended family, right?
Right.
And so people all the time would be like, hey, first off, we don't use her ex-husband's name, likeness, and or anything.
No,
right?
I took a picture one time outside of their house with Jax, like just in the car, and I will never share that picture because it's outside of their house. That's their privacy. That's their space, right?
So, but if you wanted to, you could find out who it is, and some people figured it out, and they're like, hey, isn't that messed up? Because, like, there's even family members that are like, that's messed up. You just be sharing all this personal stuff. And it's like, I don't share who it is. And if it's messed up, you shouldn't have done it.
Right.
So if she is ashamed of the fact or hiding the fact that she slept with 100 individuals in college, which, I mean, over 4 years, it's possible.
Oh, so
It's
possible.
aggressive, though. It's a lot of work. She shouldn't have done it. That and if it's common knowledge and everyone thought it was common knowledge, and the husband, like, their marital problems did not come from the revelation. Revelation. Right?
They say revelation on The Good Dinosaur.
Oh, that's true. That's a good movie.
Revelation.
It's a revelation.
You mean a revelation? No.
Yep. Yeah, they had family issues for a long time because obviously this sister sucks. But, yeah, no, you're not the a-hole.
Right.
No. I was wrong. I started this one. I started
with
this one with
she's
yes.
the older sister, right? And she should maybe be the person that's like setting the example.
Nah.
Yeah.
If we letting them fly, we letting them fly.
All right.
Look, here's the thing. I saw this thing the other day, right? This lady accuses a black man of stealing her phone on an airplane.
Oh, I've seen this.
Have you seen this?
The charger.
The charger, whatever it is. And she slaps this guy right in the face. And he's like, I did not steal. No, it was a phone. He's like, I did not steal your phone. And he's like, I need you to apologize right now. And she does not. And she's yelling at him. It's like, do you understand the consequences of your actions? And she's like, yeah, I'm about to get my phone back because I never stole your phone. And then he slaps her right back. And everyone was like, oh. And she was like, you slapped the lady. It's like, He's like, if you want to hit like a man and you want to hit a man, you're going to get hit back. Okay? You slang, be ready to receive.
And I think, like, obviously, because, like, we teach our boys, even with our girls.
You don't be hitting people
like,
back.
You're not hitting girls, specifically. Like, you know, Sloan will smack
our two older
Riker
boys.
Or whatever. And it's like, or like even Naomi. Naomi's 5. She gets in trouble for hitting them. However, they are not allowed to hit her back. Like,
that being said.
Yes, but I do think that women specifically...
if you slap me, if you slap
right?
me thinking that it's just because you're a woman, that you just carte blanche slap. And I think on top of it was the fact that he didn't steal her phone to begin with. So he's like,
the sad thing is
a random dude
will generally get in trouble anyway.
Yeah. He's like, I'm a random dude that's sitting in the seat in front of you for no reason. I'm having a confrontation I want nothing to do with. And then you slap me and you're wrong the whole way. I'd pop her back too. Like, I'm done.
You also have to consider the like strength difference between men and women. And
she needs to consider that. You don't get to slap a stranger.
I agree. And she needs to keep, but it's kind of like with our kids where it's like, here's the thing. I'm all about like F around and find out. You know? Like I am really about that life because people need to learn lessons. And that is why when somebody leaves like a really rude comment on my page, if I can find you, I'll find you. And I will send it to your boss, and I'll send it to your mom, and I'll send it to your wife. Like, because I am that person. Call me petty. I don't care what you want to call me. But at the end of the day, I feel like there are too many people in this world that make decisions walking around thinking that consequences can't find them. Yeah. They're going to find you. I'm going to help them find you. I'm going to give them a red carpet straight to your door because it's wrong. Yeah. Like, it's so wrong. And so like, I can't fix everybody's issues and I can't deal out consequences to everyone. But if you're going to, like, leave a comment about my kids on my page and say something racist to me, your boss is going to find out.
No.
Like, I can promise you that. So, but I'm
if you can't slang, like, there's no reason for her to be slanging his virginity around and stuff like that.
Yeah, sure.
That's literally on topic. She should have been thought that was possible to come back.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what is the one thing that he would be able to go back? It's like, just because I would sleep with the whole earth when you were in college.
Sure.
Because 100 people is darn near the whole, like,
that's a lot of people.
That's a lot. I was wild in college, but I don't even think I high-fived 100 people. Good Lord. 100 people.
That's a lot.
That's a lot of people.
That's a lot. All right, we're going to move on to the next one. Man. Okay. My wife died at the age of 51 from a car accident.
Okay.
I was 56, was in deep mourning for about a year after her death. I met my new girlfriend, who's 43, around January. She was the one who made me laugh for the first time after my wife died. She's smart. She has 3 Ivy League degrees. She has a dark sense of humor, which I love. She's a terrific cook, and she's an overall amazing woman who I can imagine spending the rest of my life with. She is also on the heavier side, a fact that becomes relevant later. Okay?
Okay.
I have 2 children. They're 25 and 19.
Okay.
They were well aware that I had gotten a new girlfriend before I introduced them to her this summer. She got along immediately with the oldest, but the 19-year-old was very standoffish. After the initial meeting, I asked the 19-year-old if there was something wrong, but she denied it. They both came home for Thanksgiving dinner. The dinner was going as well as it could have for the first 10 minutes, although I noticed that the 19-year-old was glaring at my girlfriend the entire time. When my girlfriend went to grab another helping of mashed potatoes, my daughter made a comment that cruelly ridiculed my girlfriend's size. My girlfriend started sobbing immediately and ran off to the bedroom. I felt my face turn red and I told her to get out. About a half hour later, she texted me saying that I texted her stating that I would no longer pay her college tuition unless she apologized to my girlfriend, and my girlfriend accepted her apology.
That's fair.
My daughter must have assumed that I was bluffing because she instead doubled down on her behavior during Thanksgiving dinner. I then logged into her university tuition payment website, canceled next semester's tuition, sent my daughter the screenshots. She has called me multiple times, crying and begging me to reconsider, but I told her that
Yeah, he ain't the a-hole. He is the a-hole. Be an a-hole, though. I like it.
I kind of like it.
Yeah.
That's actually something that
ain't nothing wrong with what you did. He is an a-hole. Way to go.
I think it's just because we see this all the time, like, as parents, sometimes you make threats to your kids because you're like, this is what would really suck for them. But a lot of the time, that consequence or that punishment actually really sucks for you as well. And so, like, taking away Riker's screen time is honestly a nightmare because he doesn't need a ton of it, but he would do it all day if we let him. So when we do take it away, it's just the worst. We're like grounding your kids.
Yeah.
They can't go anywhere. They can't do anything. So now they're home. They're just whining. They're bored, And so a lot of the time, giving your children consequences is really difficult because it comes back to bite you a little bit too. However, it's so important that they understand, like, no, this is really happening. Like, and it literally directly links back to what we were just talking about. Like, you do not get to walk through life
just
with zero consequences. Just doing whatever you want, saying whatever you want. Now, I want to it's hard because she's 19.
Yeah.
Right?
I don't care.
No, here's the thing. You gotta hear me out. I'm not excusing her behavior.
Okay.
I just want to say that first. But her mom died. Right?
Year and a half ago.
Obviously quite a bit before that. So she was maybe 17, right? 17 years old, in high school. Her mom dies. And so I do want to lean into the fact that there could be some
Look, the kid is going through things. I'll give her that.
Sure, and I think that's
17-year-old enough to at least shut your dang mouth and have that conversation behind closed doors.
And that's what I was going to say is I think in the very least she needs to use that opportunity. Here's the thing though. Sometimes I think to myself, was I that cognitive at 19.
Definitely not.
No, like I made some really stupid decisions at 19 because I was not as aware of other people and their feelings. And I mean, like I've always been very like aware of people and like I care a lot about how other people feel, but I didn't read the room very well at 19. And so sometimes I think we read this and we're like, oh, well, of course. But like at 19, was I really reading the room that well? And I don't think so. But then I think that there is this added layer of like her mom died, and it must be hard to watch your dad move on with someone else after your mom passes away. Like you don't know that.
I don't. But I'm just saying. Here's the thing. Here's what I'm saying though. Like, yes, it's got to be tough. It's got to be emotional. But at a certain point, not only did you do something terrible, right?
Yes.
Then you were told there was going to be consequences. Now that's where it's like, hey, this is real simple. And maybe he is the a-hole because he hasn't been consistent as a parent. Because there is something like, quite frankly, me and Chelsea have conversations all the time. Hey, don't threaten it if you're not going to do it. And I'll be, a peek into our home. By the time I say that something's about to happen, the kids are like, oh crap, I'm 70% there.
Yeah.
Right. And so, and it's a little bit different when mom says it. When mom says it, they're like, I don't know that she's going to... They call her bluff quite a bit more because, like, I'm like, if you don't stop, you're going to do this. And then sometimes I'm like, never mind, we're just doing it. And they're like, no!
Yeah.
Like, right?
And Bedford and I have... Because Bedford is very, like, straight out the gates. Like, somebody will just start randomly crying. Bedford doesn't even necessarily understand why they're crying. He's just sick of the crying. So he's like, everyone's screwed.
We're burning this whole place down right now.
He lights up the
you
whole
do your
house.
room. You do your room. You back there minding your business.
And
you
I'm like the one that is like, we're driving and they're like screaming at me about something. I'm like, I'm gonna pull over. You want to get out of this car right here on the side of the freeway? And like everyone in this whole world knows that that's never gonna happen. But I'm still
unless I say it. If I say it, they're like, oh crap.
We're complete opposites. Where Bedford is just so like. But again, it's kind of like, and I've gotten better now that Bedford's home. But when Bedford was working, especially when he was traveling, consequences were so hard for me.
Because they were hard for you. They were consequences for you.
They were hard for me. They made my life so much harder. And so, and that's why kids grow up and they're selfish a-holes. So,
but this is the thing. So if he might be the a-hole for being inconsistent, and she called this bluff. Like, he ain't never gonna do that. Well, turns out he is. And, like, flipping the script on that is kind of a dirtbag move. I would prefer a consistent parent at all times. But him being willing to do so and actually doing it leads me to believe he's been consistent.
Yeah, I kind of applaud it. Like, I guess what this one comes down to for me is that I'm like, he made the right decision. I don't think he's the a-hole. However... just looking at it, because some of these you can read it and like, no, you were blatantly being an a-hole and you, like the other person, right? Like in a lot of these situations, you can look at it and be like, no, she was truly just trying to be a crappy person, Yeah. But in this situation, I don't know that the daughter is in a really healthy mindset or place. But here's the other thing too. So my aunt died.
Yeah.
In 2020 during COVID.
Mm-hmm.
And when she passed away, and then a couple of years later, my uncle started dating someone. And I think a lot of us know stories like this, But my cousin is like, I love her. And like, I love her because she's great, but also I just love her because she loves my dad and she takes care of my dad. She makes my dad happy. And so I don't think that that's like an easy conclusion to come to for a child, but I do think that
it's a possible one.
Right. I think that it, is to be able to see someone that takes care of your dad or, your brother or your sister or whoever it is that you're watching that like, unravel with. But okay, well, this next one is quite a bit different.
Okay, I'm ready.
Bedford is...
I love it.
Okay, I'm actually going to start with this one. Okay. It says, I'm just going to get right to it. She's 25, boyfriend, he's 28, likes to be called daddy in the bedroom while we're being intimate.
Okay.
You on board with that?
I'm not opposed to it.
Okay. I've obliged to this request, but it's starting to creep me out. I've decided I don't want to do it anymore.
Oh, she is the a-hole. All right. You can't just you can't rip the plug.
He's not happy with this. And
Of course he ain't.
It has nothing to do with the connotation of the word. He just simply enjoys hearing me say it. Anyway, the last time we tried to be intimate, I started to refer to myself as grandma in the third person. Do you like when grandma does that? And he flew off the handle. He said I ruined the mood, made him feel gross, and I was being ridiculous. I think I proved my point, but he thinks I'm being the a-hole.
Oh, man. You gotta get a new girlfriend. It's over.
No!
Yeah, just replace her.
No.
Yeah, there's no other option.
There's got to be some bedroom respect.
There is plenty of bedroom respect. That'll never leave his mind again. He's got to get a new girlfriend.
Okay, but imagine it for a girl. Like, who did I grow up saying daddy to? My father.
I know, but so it's different.
No, it's not.
I don't know why it's different, but grandma, grandma.
Listen, it's. If she feels weird saying it because she calls her daddy,
I get
daddy.
it. But now he has to get a new girlfriend. That's it. That's
all
there is to it. They both got to go a different way.
On this one.
It's over. It's over. Just set it down. It's fine.
Time.
It's over forever.
Do you like it when grandma does that?
No. It only takes once to ruin everything for everybody. It's over.
I got a surprise for you later.
You better not. You better not. You pull that crap off, you're going to be on probation.
No, everybody should have the right to say, this is what I like doing. Here's the thing.
And but grandma...
If she says, I don't want to do that anymore, it feels weird to me.
Yeah.
He should be like, all right.
At that point, he's got to decide whether it's over, and that's fine. It could be over.
If you end a relationship and somebody won't call you daddy in the bedroom, you have so many problems.
I've ended relationships for much less.
Really? Like what?
I'm trying to think. I mean, okay.
Please don't show the world how petty you are.
I got bit one time making out with a chick. I was like, yeah, that's good. I'm out.
Bit?
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Okay, but
you're not biting me.
It's like, okay,
I was like, nope.
So...
Oh, no. And she's like, what's wrong? I'm like, nah, I don't even need to talk to you about what's wrong. I'm out.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it.
All I'm saying is, she says, listen, that's weird.
I know. Shut it down. Shut it down for everybody. Your flavors don't match. That's it. That's all. Let's move on. There's other people on the fish.
Weird.
There's so many fish in the sea. And then you called yourself grandma. And that's now going to be stuck in his head.
I love that for her.
No, yeah.
I love it so much.
She purposely grenaded the whole relationship. It's fine. Let it go.
Oh my gosh.
It's gone. Do something new.
That made me so happy.
Load up your Tinder account. Let's move on.
Stop that.
Bumble, whatever it is. What the
this one for sure is going to make Bedford angry.
Okay.
This poster said he spent $11,000 fixing up a 1967 Impala.
Okay, justified. Who's $11,000?
His own.
Okay.
It was a huge passion project.
Okay.
Only for his girlfriend to send it all to a scrapyard behind his back because she wanted to use the garage for a parking space.
Yeah, she's got to go. Forever. Like, someone's got to make her disappear.
The original poster mentioned that he had 2.5 acres of land and a barn she could park the car in.
It's not even her house?
What?
It's not her house?
I don't know.
Whose house is it?
I don't know. We don't know yet.
Are they married?
I don't know.
She's got to go.
He threatened to sue her and filed a police report for grand larceny and grand theft auto. It isn't just a video game, which is news to me. In an amazing update, the original poster revealed he managed to track down his car to a scrapyard where he proved the car parts were his and he was able to get them back. The last we heard was that the police had to hold it for evidence, but that it would soon be returned to him.
Yeah, I would never let that woman...
it is his girlfriend.
Yeah, out. You're not about to live in my house, throw my car away so that you could park in my garage when there's plenty of other parking. 100%. No, I'd hire a hitman. I don't. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. How dare you? You work for the streets. You are. You scallywag. Get out of here. Yes, you are the a-hole.
I knew.
Oh, my goodness.
that one was going to make you upset. It is wild to me.
And then she's like, you spent $11,000 on the car. Well, it's his money and his car and his house. Like, what are you... Get out of here. Get out of here.
I don't.
Oh, we need to bring back public stoning. Like, absolutely not.
Oh my god.
I would throw a rock on that one for sure. Bring the torch.
Yeah, I don't think that is necessary, but I do think, like, okay, I'll read this other one because we'll talk about it. We'll talk about them together. So this one says, the original poster let his brother-in-law and twin daughters, they're both 18, move in with them after he had lost his house in a divorce. But trouble soon ensued when the twins would constantly barge into his 16-year-old daughter's rooms and take her things, makeup, jewelry, clothes, etc. The final straw was when they ruined his daughter's $60 MAC eyeshadow palette that she had been saving up a month to buy. She was crying, so he decided to put a lock on his daughter's door to keep her possessions safe. The entire family, including his wife, were outraged by this, but every single person in the comments seems to agree with the poster. People wrote that the girls barging in is an invasion of his daughter's privacy. Blah, blah, blah. If his wife won't see reason, he should consider divorce. So much drama, but I'm glad that he stood his ground. So
his wife, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it all kind of just comes down to, like, a lot of these am I the a-holes are just, like, respective space or, like, property or things. Like, we've seen those videos on Instagram where the girlfriend or the wife or whatever will delete, like, and I don't understand how this works, but, like, gaming profiles that are worth,
I've seen the one where the guy was, like, making $400K a year and she just deleted the profile because he didn't spend time with her. And they, like, come home and they just, like, he threw the TV.
Like, throw the TV, throw the Xbox, break windows, like. Yeah,
which I would if I had $400,000 a year or something.
So, but let me ask you this then. So, this one is not in an Am I the A-hole, but I think that it's exactly this topic. So, I mean, I've actually seen, and I don't know what you have seen just because I fall in a different category, which is generally women, but women who have gamers as a spouse, right? Or a spouse that is a gamer is probably a better term. And it's literally an addiction, right? And
That's
so
true.
It's like they never see their partner, ever. And their partner never spends time with them. They don't get to go out on a date. They don't get to, and some women literally divorce their partners because they don't feel like priority, right? So obviously these people are a little in a different boat because that's their job. They make money that way, right? And I would assume that, like, conversations ensued prior to that, right? Like,
or it could be like just a new girlfriend that just doesn't get it. Like, it's possible because a lot of people don't understand how we make money.
Yeah.
Like, and like it just doesn't add up. But at the same time, like for me, and maybe this is like the most petty thing, like especially if you're just dating, just anything and everything is a reason to leave if you want to. Like,
yeah.
If you don't like the gamer, he been gaming. Like, if you don't like the gamer, then find a non-gamer. Like,
well, I think that people think, and I'm actually the perfect example of this, and we've talked about this before, but as humiliating as this is, my ex-husband had an affair, but he had actually cheated on me multiple times prior to us getting married. And I guess in a lot of people's mind, once you marry someone, like, it's for real, you know? Like, I really mean this. Like, I've gotten all my BS out of my system, and I'm ready to move on, and I'm ready to, like, commit. Like, marriage is a commitment, right? Like, I am now committing to you, which means that I'm going to change my behaviors. I want to be with you. My BS is, like, gone. You know, the things that we argued about, I hear you.
Yeah.
That type of thing. It's not.
No.
I just want to make that really clear. Like, just because someone proposes and just because you get married does not mean that their behavior is going to change.
Honestly, more often than not, you married the person that you married, and not a whole lot's going to change.
You married the person that you were dating.
Now, there are sometimes, and a lot of times it has to do with, like, substance abuse. Maybe that person can change dramatically.
Sure, recovery.
But, like, a lot of times, and that's who you married, that's who they are. Maybe slowly over time things can change, but guess what? Because it's slowly and over time, it's not going to feel like anything's changing for a long time.
Well, to be really honest with you, I don't know that there's anything that you did while we were dating that I, like, asked you to change that you didn't change, right? And I
don't think there was anything you asked me to change.
I just think, like, there are certain things, and we've done this through our marriage, where it's like, I would really love it if you didn't do that.
So I cuss too much. That's one of them.
That type of stuff.
Yeah.
right? And it's kind of like, oh, okay, well, like let me make some adjustments, right?
And then I do really good for 2 months, and then I get back to my bad habits.
To his
and
BS,
then,
yeah. And so it's very, I think that it's such a good, you're 100% right, where it's like, listen, it's not going to change just because you get married, okay? Like, whatever that behavior is that is pissing you off, it's not changing now while you guys are dating, and they're not showing, because it's not like people are going to be perfect and they're going to do things, like everything that you love. Like, there are going to be things about your partner that are annoying, and then there's going to be some things where you're like, I really don't like when you do that. And if they're not like, oh, okay, like, let me fix it, let me figure out how to, make changes in that arena while you're dating, it's not going to change just because you're married.
Like, let's take it back to earlier in the podcast, right? I was seeing a chick, right? She bit me, right?
Yeah.
I knew right then and there that that's never happening again. Now, I don't know if that's her thing. She likes biting. Vampire, right?
Nice.
She wants to do that. I don't even care enough to, we weren't far enough in the relationship for me to even be like, I want this to work and I'm going to ask you not to do that. Like, I don't even care. Like,
yeah,
you do that, just not with me. I'm out.
Right. And
right.
I think
and so, like, for me, like, the biggest thing, though, is like, I'm not going to expect that to change.
Sure.
That was clearly her thing. She wanted to bite. She bite quick. Right in the chest. I was like, right? And so, like, for me, I'm like, nah, that's a deal breaker. I want nothing to do with it. I don't even need to explain why it's a deal breaker. I'm out. I probably should have explained that was probably the Christ-like thing to do. Wasn't that guy. Anyway.
No, and I think that there are some things that are worth saying, like, I care enough about you and I want to be with you enough that, like, I want to have a conversation about this thing. But in most, like, I don't know. So I think that, going back to it, though, is it's kind of, so a lot of these are like respective space, respective property, respective boundaries. Like, am I the a-hole for, wanting somebody to respect my space? And so in this situation specifically, it was interesting to me that so many people were like, yeah, you're the a-hole. Because I was like, how? Like, teaching my child that it's okay
for you to hold your space.
To hold space and say, no, these are my things. You're not allowed to use them. I bought them. They're mine. You do not get to use them without asking me. And then teaching other children, because here's the other thing. I just saw this thing on Instagram that reminded me of this one. This lady goes to the beach. You see this argument all the time. This lady goes to the beach and her kids, her son is an only child, and there's like this group of 3 other kids, they're siblings, and her kid goes over and tries to play with their like sand pails and their shovels and stuff, and the other kids take it away from him and they're like, no, these are ours.
Yeah, right? Get up out of here.
Yeah. And so she does this whole video and is like, you need to teach your kids to share, like, he was heartbroken, blah blah blah.
Don't nobody care about your kid.
And I'm like, here's the thing, in most situations, our kids, they probably wouldn't be like, here you go, come play with us, because that's not the nature of our children. However, I do think that our children, if another 3-year-old or 5-year-old came over and was like trying to play, they would kind of, and we would probably...
They wouldn't take it away from them, and they would complain that the kid took it.
Here's the thing though, is if it's an extra and it's just hanging out, like, as a parent, I would probably be like, it's okay. We have a lot of things. It's okay, right? That's the kind of parent I am. However, if your kid comes over and takes it from my kid, I'm going to be like, nope, sorry, buddy, that's not yours. And that happens to us at the pool sometimes. Yeah. We'll take a bunch of toys to the pool, another 5-year-old will come over and take the 3-year-old's toy, like our 3-year-old, and I'll be like, oh, no, that's not yours, and I'll take it and give it back to my child, right? But I think that there's just this, like, overarching concept. We tend to teach children that, like, what's theirs is yours, like, and we lack these boundaries with children. And so I was kind of shocked, actually, how many people thought that he was the bad guy for allowing his child to have her own things. But then that's why we have a hard time holding space for ourselves as adults, So.
Yeah, and it's tough because I can see why people would be like, well, obviously they don't have the means.
Right. And
they're clearly going through some stuff. Mom and dad are getting divorced. They're young girls that are trying to be pretty in the world and whatever, all the stuff.
Right.
So it's tough, but at the same time, that's not the way to go about it. Hustle for yours, trying to figure it out. Like, do some chores, do something to find a way. But, like, if you're just going to, like, ransack somebody else's stuff and ruin it,
right,
that's messed up.
Yeah.
That's messed up.
All right. This can be the last one.
All right.
So, okay, this sounds dumb, but hear me out.
Okay, anytime someone starts with hear me out, they're the a-hole. That's where I'm leading. We'll see if I'm wrong. I'm probably wrong.
I have always been a picky eater, especially when it comes to tomatoes.
Okay.
Ever since I was a kid, my dad would make my spaghetti different from the rest of the house.
You're the a-hole.
I like having an essence of the sauce flavor on the noodles, but not the overpowering flavor having the noodles bathed in sauce. So here's where it gets a bit odd. My dad would separate my spaghetti from the family's after putting the sauce on, and then he would rinse the sauce off with the sink and strainer.
Okay.
And then I would love the noodles like this as it adds a nice subtle tomato vibe.
I just hate this person.
Yeah.
Okay.
She's 20. Her boyfriend, 26, has known about this since we first started dating. He has always told me that my food habits were cute. We have been dating for almost 3 years now and have moved in together, blah, blah, blah. Ever since we moved in together, he has insisted on taking charge of cooking and all cooking-related tasks, dishes, grocery shopping, etc. And he has assigned me the role of cleaning the bulk of the apartment. We split the other tasks pretty much 50-50. Okay?
Seems fair.
Everything was perfect, and he always seemed to be making the noodles the way I liked them when we had them.
Okay.
This was until last week when we had spaghetti. We ate and everything was good, but afterwards he started teasing me by saying things like, you really like your pasta with an essence of tomato, and how's your tomato essence?
Oh, he's the a-hole. Dang it. He done cracked the code and ruined it.
Always using finger quotes around the word essence. After a few comments, I felt something was off, and I asked him if he had done anything differently with tonight's noodles than he usually does, and he started laughing. When he finally stopped laughing, he told me the whole truth while smirking. He said, I didn't do anything different than I usually do. I have never been making it the way that you requested. Apparently, the entire time that we've been living together, he has just been skipping the pasta sauce on my noodles entirely. He claimed that if I didn't notice for this long, it shouldn't matter, and he is making dinner in a way that is easier for him.
Yeah.
I disagree entirely. I think the lying was a huge breach of trust, and so was the refusal to make my dinner how I wanted. I've admittedly been acting passive-aggressive to him since, but he thinks I did nothing wrong, or he did nothing wrong. Am I overreacting? Do I need to let it go? Am I the a-hole?
Just blow up the whole thing, because it's not worth his time.
When I was reading it, I was like, what do you even mean?
Yeah.
Like, what do you even mean? So you're saying that your dad would take your noodles and then he would rinse the strainer, or he would like put it in a strainer. So
essentially, Dad puts tomato on the noodles, then goes, oh snap, I forgot to take the tomato sauce off. Let me rinse her thing of tomato sauce off, and then gives it to her. Like, the whole extra step.
What do you mean? Like, essence of tomato sauce?
No, Dad's an a-hole, she's an a-hole, he's an a-hole.
Like, it has to have been so ridiculously nothing for him to be serving her plain noodles this whole time, and she just genuinely had no idea that it was any different from what she had at her house. Like, and now, but here's the thing. Realistically, can she be upset that he's been lying to her?
No.
Not even that, like, he's been doing it differently. Because should he have... Because, again, we're in a dating phase, right? So if you have a girl that's like, I like the essence of the tomato sauce, is it not your responsibility to say... Yeah, I'm not doing that. That's ridiculous. If you want your noodles a certain way, you can do that yourself. I'm not doing that.
You probably could do that. You should do that.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, it's all stupid.
I think it's ridiculous, right? And I don't think that she should be upset. Especially like the boyfriend said, if you haven't noticed, then you shouldn't be this angry.
Well, quite frankly, you know what's happening is the boyfriend's he's pushing the limits. He's kind of like, you know what? I'm not doing this stupid crap, and I'm not letting her have this stupid story. It's like he's probably already done.
So
now he's like, hey, let me pull this card just for fun because I've been doing it for long enough.
Maybe, but also it could just be something where he's like, this isn't that big of a deal. This is ridiculous. And if she was to break up with him, he would be completely shocked because realistically,
I just think
him it's about the noodles. For her, it's about the dishonesty.
I think he knows he's like, look, if she gets frustrated and breaks up with me, I don't care.
Maybe.
Like, I think that's where, like, it's a stupid thing, and that is a thing that is possible. But I think he knows, like, I've dated one girl, too. Like, she was like, what if I do this and do this, do this? And I'm like, then it's over. And she was like, oh. And at that point, I knew that it was over. And it was just like, I just don't care. Yeah, I was like, look, if you're going to do this or that, because she wanted to go party and go to a club. And I'm like, I'm not doing it. I don't want to go. It's like, well, what if I dance with somebody else? And you can dance with somebody else. I don't care. It's like, what if I go home with them? It's like, go home with them. I don't care. Do whatever you want. And it's like, you don't even like me. And I'm like, you might be right, actually. I don't, like, this is, what an eye-opening revelation.
There's a lot of relationships that are just convenience relationships. Yeah. Like, I'm just in this relationship because, you know, it makes it so that I don't have to date, because dating sucks.
Yeah, dating's worse.
You know, and especially for women, it's kind of like, we go out to dinner,
especially for women.
What?
Dating's the worst for guys.
No, I'm saying, like, for women, it's easy to fall into convenience relationships.
Oh, okay. I was going to say.
It's like, for women, it's like, he takes me out for dinner, you know, like, generally speaking, I just think that a lot of these relationships sound like they might just be convenience relationships. However, I do think that this little disagreement situation, like the noodles one, I think that sounds like a very regular thing that would happen in any relationship. Not the noodles situation specifically, but just something small like that where you're like, this doesn't actually matter. Yeah. You know? And then, yes, you can be annoyed, and then you can kind of just move on and be like, okay, well, it was annoying that he did that way, or she did that way.
Yeah, but if you like want to blow it up over that, and it's like, perfectly acceptable.
You're so angry about it that you are going to take it to Reddit and be like, am I the a-hole for being upset about this? Like, probably yes then.
Yeah.
Like, because it sounds like he's like, listen, this isn't a big deal. But she's turning it into this, like, well, then I can't trust you. Yeah. You know? And is that...
And quite frankly, you can't.
Yeah. That's what I was going to say. Is that valid?
Yeah, it's valid. But it's just... Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how... I probably would handle it the same way as a boyfriend. Like, I ain't doing that. And then, except for, I would do it like on the first time. Hey, was that any different? No. Okay, we're doing it my way from now on. And then, and then it would be like, hey, like, if we have a fight and tiff over it, I'm not going to put noodles on and wash it down the drain. That is not going to happen. You know what I'm saying? 0%. Like, you take that madness somewhere else.
Weird thing to have.
Yeah. But there's somebody for everybody, and your dad clearly did it. Or maybe he even didn't do it. Can you imagine just like, I can imagine Dad did it one time.
All of a sudden Dad's like, no, girl.
Bet she wants plain ones. Rinses it off because he forgot. Then from forevermore, it's just like, I took him out.
Imagine thinking you're getting the essence of tomato and you're getting nothing.
You're just dumb as rocks.
Yeah, like, you're like, this is what tomato tastes like. Yeah. No, that tastes like a noodle. They're not the same.
No, you're a clown. I hate tomatoes, but I love the essence of tomatoes.
You like the idea of a tomato.
Yeah.
Because, like...
all she's getting is the smell of everybody else's tomatoes in their... That's
kind of like
literally...
air up.
Yeah. She's getting the air up version of noodles. Like...
Oh, my. If you don't know what air up is, there are these water bottles our kids like, where you put in, like, a scent around the, like, spout, and then you can smell it while you're drinking, and it kind of gives you, it looks like, and so you're drinking water.
But it smells like peaches.
Coca-Cola, or it smells like strawberry or whatever. Anyway, so maybe it's like this second hand.
Yeah, and so in your brain, you kind of think that you're tasting it, but you're not
but really. You're just getting
You're just drinking water. And so she's smelling everybody else's
food and
getting the essence of it. It's like, go, just kick rocks. Like,
with the open-toed shoes.
Yeah. Kick rocks with some sandals on, like, go, I don't know.
All right, well, I liked this episode.
Yeah, it was fun.
This was a fun one.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for being here. We enjoy having, all of y'all here. And if you have an opinion, drop it in the comments. Like, subscribe, and that's it. We'll see you guys next week.
See ya. Except for Sissy.